Hello, welcome into the FTN pod. Um, we didn't do a couple episodes for quite a while, and now we got two back to back weeks. This is super exciting. I don't know if the names are going to pop up, but if you can't see them or you're just listening to this, we got Devin Williams wearing his signature New York Yankees hat and his unshaven beard, as is Yankees tradition. And we got Jackson Job over here representing the American League All Star team. Jackson Job, freshly married. We just talked about this right before the pod, but Jack, give the league an insight. Give us like two sentences. What's married life like?
The same as it was before, with more joint bank accounts and you know all sorts of good things that come with that.
That's the main point, anyways, really.
Joint
Devin
tax
Williams.
filings, Drew. I'm sure you'll love that.
Yeah, absolutely. Devin Williams, what's it like to be hated by an entire city, the biggest city in the U.S.?
I'm very sad and very down and also very sad. But I did strike out the side today in a scoreless sixth inning where we were down four.
Sixth inning. Oh man.
Yeah, so, easy landing, but we're getting the groove back, and I'll be, back blowing saves for the Brewers before we know it.
Yesterday, the Rays brought in Mason Montgomery with the Rays down, I think 6 in like the third inning. Dude's just throwing 101, like as Joe Boyle emergency relief. You go from Joe Boyle 99 101 to Mason Montgomery 101.
And assuredly, they lost that game by a million.
Yeah. Mariners swept the Rays. Mariners won 7 straight, and we are, I think, one or maybe a half game behind the Astros. So
What a luxury to have to pay attention to a real MLB playoff race.
what a luxury to have
Could be me.
a team that won a World Series not too long ago.
It's so bad it doesn't even matter anymore. I would give that World Series back for like 5 more years of like National League Championship Series.
The Mariners are very good at being competent for the last like decade.
54%, Jack. I mean, that's all you're trying to win.
All you
ever,
need.
as long as
That's
you
the
do it.
definition of competence.
The AL West kind of feels like Division Three, just a bunch of mediocrity.
Hey,
A whole bunch of scrappy play styles, really, more than anything. Just a bunch of tight, manufactured tight games. The teams that were made to play tight games, they don't just incidentally become tight. They were designed meticulously by their owners to win or lose every single game by one category or less. It is literally what they plan to do.
This is not the Division Three pod. There's a reason why we have no one from Division Three on this call. We had a very heavy Division Three pod last week. Let's talk about anything else. Um, Adam, you wanted to talk about the state of the playoff races. So without mentioning Division Three, walk us through.
Not mentioning the only tight playoff race. I'll talk about
hey,
the
Drew, you're still in it, man. You're still in it.
I hate you.
Jack taking a pretty embarrassing loss to pretty dead in the water Max Suddendorf. So
I'm not even embarrassed. Did you see what I messaged in the group me about his last 2 days in offense? He said I think 11 home runs in the last 2 days. Maybe it's 9, something like that. He has at least 29 RBIs in 2 days. I mean, sometimes you go off.
I was surprised with the when I looked at the schedule today. I mean, I know I made the schedule, but like I don't always remember what happens when I make it. And to see Max versus Jack happens in week 19
The
and week
first time.
21.
Mm-hmm.
wild.
Fun
We
stuff.
deserve better. Fire the schedule maker.
Seriously, I've got some easy matchups next though. I got you, Drew, and then I got Max again, and then I get Sean, who's fraudulent. So nice way to close out the year.
With my mid-season and preseason trades, I'm up to 93 BAM or 83 BAM at the summer infusion, and so I'm just aiming to win that consolation bracket this year, so I can up that by another 15 BAM next summer.
What do you do with all this BAM?
I'm gonna re. I don't want to say that word. I'm gonna.
We need to have teams that are trying to win. So many teams are rebuilding. Someone needs to win.
He traded Aaron Judge and Juan Soto. If not rebuilding, what is this?
Well, I didn't think exchanging Aaron Judge for Bam and younger players was not like I'm still trying to win.
Okay, just
It was
unsuccessfully.
kind of rebuilding, but it was like rebuilding around Juan Soto. But then I traded Juan Soto, and now it's rebuilding around Nick Kurtz because I realized Juan Soto is not a winning baseball player.
It's his attitude, really. He's not the clubhouse can rally around him the way they're rallying around Nick Kurtz right now.
Bo Bichette did start hitting a lot better as soon as he traded Juan Soto.
He did. If only I didn't roster a bunch of terrorists in the bullpen. And I never heard that term used to or like be like that was not a term in FTN. This was a this year thing.
I think we need to
I
get
don't,
rid of this term. I think it's already run its course.
I'm kind of done with it.
I used it once today, and I was kind of like, no, never again.
yeah.
Sorry, Ryan.
What do we think of the bullpens? How important are they going to be to this playoff race? We all know it's like really important in MLB. That's why these teams make tons of relief pitcher trades at the deadline. And FTN, we didn't really see any relief pitcher trades at the deadline. Um, Adam, should have you done that?
Devin Williams.
Williams. Curse my team.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. We said the bit. We're just warming up. We're warming up.
Jack, how important is the bullpen once you get to the playoffs in FTN?
I think it's like medium important. I don't think it's any more important in the playoffs than it is in the regular season, to be honest. I think it's kind of the same. Like different teams have different strategies. Sean still has, like 7 relievers and lots of great starters. So he has 3 categories where he should do quite well. So, I mean, I think it is meaningful for Sean. It's also meaningful for Adam in that you have no bullpen. They are dead, or they are gambling, or they are bad. So, I mean, I think it's a problem for you. I think for everybody else who just has like a normal 5 or 6 pretty decent guys, like the same as in the season.
Let me just throw this out there because I just thought of it. Obviously, in real life baseball, in MLB, you get to the playoffs and it's almost a different game. Starters go 4 innings, then you go to the bullpen. What if, to Jack, your point, it's no more important in the playoffs and the regular season, the relief staff? What if we lowered the innings pitched limit in the playoffs and make it more of a bullpen game?
Says the master cheeser himself. Someone is very aware of the only way that he has succeeded in FTN before.
I don't think you can change like the scoring rules that you go on that you have for the entire season just for the playoffs. Like that's like creates weird roster incentives. So I'm gonna go no on that one. I mean, obviously no in part because it would advantage Sean, but like I think even he would be like, yeah, that's a weird thing to do. Like I don't know why you do that. And he was the one who got cheesed by you, so I'm sure there's some sore wounds there.
I feel like every year we see like bullpens become a thing in the playoffs every year. Like we see these like huge bloated rotations in the regular season, and then sort of everyone like slowly but surely cuts down and like adds a like everyone is definitely running 5 and like some guys are running 6.
7, yeah.
Yeah, 6, 7. I mean, Sean's the only person who seems to add more starters.
I'm gonna look.
Yeah,
he always abandons his strategies for
some. Right when it makes sense.
I had no idea through that if you were talking about MLB or FTN. So you're talking about FTN.
I'm talking about FTN. I don't think FTN guys are running 8 unless that's Bean, in which case it's not the playoffs. But I do feel like you just want to have as many active roster spots as possible. So like the guys that you're sort of stashing, like the bench bats, or like sort of like the hurt. Like if a guy gets hurt and he's not gonna help, like you just dump him, and like you just want to have as many guys active at all times. So I feel like relievers are just like a good way to like hold a roster spot and like like at least have it theoretically be active.
I think I'll amend my statement. Actually, I think that's right. I think they're more important. It's not the same, just because like you can't afford like the guys you would maybe keep on for like I don't know. Say there's a guy like who's like our just classic like streamer, like a Joey Cantillo right now, right? Who's just streamed around. Dean Kramer, right? Like guys that maybe on like Friday, Saturday they have like a decent stream, right? You probably don't want to hold them all week for that because you're missing 5 days of potential reliever outings for something you might not need. Whereas in the regular season, you're more willing to make that decision. And then in the playoffs, you just can't afford bad ratios. Like you have to have good ratios, unless you get like tanked on a Monday, and then you just send everything right just to hold down two categories if you can.
I think that's a very good point. And what about an hour before we started recording this, I was thinking maybe I should update my starting pitcher rankings because it's been probably 7 or 8 weeks since I've done that. And like we could all do that. I didn't do it because what I realized is, um, and this goes back to the terrace point, and we won't use that word. We'll just call it um, bad bullpens because of bad bullpens and but bad streamers too. I've realized that my approach has always been I look at like the top 5 or 6 guys and then I rank them. And I'm like, okay, I don't care about starters 7 through 10 on everyone's teams. The thing is those starters in the regular season play a large part because we have so many blow up outings, but once you get to the bullpen, what you're talking about, Devin Williams, I think is exactly right. Where it's everyone in FTN is, except for maybe John Duong, but most everyone is cutting down their volume starters, really focusing on the best matchups for the week in the playoffs. And so those 5 to 6 guys become like the important ones that you can rank against. But ranking only the top 5 to 6 starters on everyone's team for regular season purposes is just not very real because you are streaming and you are using 7 to 9 guys every week. Usually 8 guys on your roster, maybe a streamer, and maybe one of your prospects.
Yeah, like I mean, it's you're no longer trying to win every category, and like it doesn't matter if you win 5-4-1 or if you win 10-0, they all count the same. So if you can, like, it's just very very viable to run out a whole bunch of relievers and start Tarek Skubal twice and Jacob DeGrom once.
And you're done. Yeah.
You're sort of done, and like you
Hope
just
the offense doesn't get clobbered, which you can't really control. So
and then it's just a lot of like who blinks first, because like if you fall behind in ratios, you're just going to stream the rest of the way and like hope you take sort of K's wins and like fight back. And like that's why save holds become such a thing in the playoffs, is that like generally like like ERA whip and save holds are the easiest like three to like lock down and cheese. Like you can't cheese like K's wins and like that's volume, but like if you throw out volume in bad pitchers, like you're going to lose ERA and whip, and like you're not winning save holds unless you run a bunch of bullpen guys. So like you're really just trying to like any way to fight to three. And the bullpen ERA whip saves is just much easier than trying to go a ton of volume and then trying to like scrape out any of the others.
I want to flip that on its head, and then I want Jack to respond to it. But I think I kind of agree with what you're saying, but I would almost say any given week in the playoffs, you can choose maybe by like Wednesday, depending on how the matchup's gone. I'm either going to go for wins and Ks or I'm going to go for ERA and whip. And so you can kind of tell a matchup like, okay, we're going to split this 2-2. Which one do I want to go? Save holds is the third category to win in pitching, and that's the one that you can't really make on the fly decisions in the playoffs because your roster is already set with the bullpen guys. Whereas you can always pick up starters to stream. It's much harder to stream relievers because you don't know when they're going to pitch. So you want to have your bullpen set, and they become so important because they can be that all important third category in pitching.
are you asking me to
I
respond?
don't. I'm not asking you. Just like, do you have a reaction?
I mean, I think that one, you can stream relievers a little bit, right? I mean, you can see who has like before the week starts or even midweek who has more potential opportunities. I mean, guys have anywhere from five's pretty rare, but 6 to even sometimes 8 opportunities. So you can do that a little bit. And I think it goes back to what Adam said about blinking first. Like you really don't want to be making that decision to decide that you're going volume. You want to be competitive in everything. If you decide to go pure volume, you're usually making a decision to give up for sure 2 categories. Wins are never certain, and save holds are never certain, regardless. Like because relievers, like a little bit against the argument I just made, but because their schedules they don't always go the same time. Maybe their team is loses 4 straight, so they're never ahead, right? And you can't control that. Like if you decide to go volume, then you're probably already behind, and that's a desperate decision that like I kind of think you should never make that choice, to be honest. Like you should just you need to lock down ratios no matter what. And like if you're so worried about like losing Ks, like that's cart before the horse. Like if it comes to like Friday, Saturday, Sunday decisions, maybe. Like if it's like Saturday and you're like, yeah, I started Jacob DeGrom against the A's and Nick Kurtz hit 3 home runs off of him and he gave up 6, which you didn't expect, then you just have no other choice. But
Yeah, and then you're just sort of hoping that the person you're playing panics and then starts streaming too or throwing out guys and starts that they shouldn't, and then all of a sudden like ratios are back into play when they have no reason to be, and like we're back at square one. But like that's just like getting bailed out. Like really like the highest level of FTN playoff baseball is like my 5 versus your 5, and like if
yeah, I
we're
think your rankings, Drew, are good for the playoffs, maybe.
Mhm.
Sometimes you pick the wrong pitchers, which is weird to me. But, we all have different guys we think are our top 5, I suppose.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room. And that is, I think for the first time since like week 10, Ben's going to have a non 0% chance to make the playoffs in Jacob's model. Um, what do we think? Is JD published his power rankings in the group chat a couple hours ago? He did not have been in the top 5. He had been behind all 3 Division 3 teams. Was Ben properly placed by JD at number 8, or is Ben pushing to be a top 5 team? I'll start with you, Jack.
Who are you starting with? I'm sorry.
I'm starting with you, Jack, and I want to know if he's not a top 5 team, who are you putting at number 5 instead, assuming the top 4 go without saying?
Um, I don't think his ranking has actually changed. Am I not following his team closely? I know he's trouncing Jacob right now. Was he good last week too, or something?
He's been good for like 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay, sorry, Ben, for not giving you the respect you deserve. Hold on, I need to look at his team. So he beat Jacob, played JD closely, trounced Vinny, beat Sean, beat Matt. Look at you, beat Sean.
Right?
I never beat Sean this year. Um, I mean, in the standings, how far back is he?
I was hoping Ryan would provide a live standings update while
Yeah.
we're recording this.
No, I mean he's definitely not a top 5 team. Of course he's not. I think he is probably ahead of Perry, ahead of Vinny. I don't know. He's in the same camp as like you and Max, Drew, on like he's hotter. So like sure, we can put him above you guys. That's fine. But no higher than that. He's not above Graydon. He's not above Ryan. He's not above Jacob. Like
So he has him right where JD has him, which is right below.
yeah. So yeah, I don't.
Then the Division 3 teams, and then Ben.
Does Ben think he's higher than that? I feel like he doesn't. Like he has a track record of being absolutely terrible. Like you can all go on a bender, but
The problem with Ben is
his pitching is terrible.
He never believes it's just a bender, right? Like he
Part of
thinks
the charm.
streak is permanent.
I'm Team Bean these days. I'm ready to go. I have a different view of power rankings than I think a lot of people in the league. I have a more engagement bait style of power rankings where like it's who would I not want to play next week versus like Bean was eliminated from playoff contention like April like 19th. Like it doesn't mean like you should be in the bottom of the power rankings every week. If you're playing well, you should be higher up, and if you're playing badly, you should be lower down. And I wouldn't really want to play him if I was. I said this to some folks. If I was JD, he's like the guy in Conference 2 that I wouldn't want to see in the playoffs. Now it's a good thing he won't.
Why
But like,
is he the guy?
well, if we were talking a bit earlier about, I don't know if you remember, it was like 2.5 minutes ago about bullpen strength.
Mm-hmm.
The bullpen guy. All of a sudden, you're throwing out like weirdly career reincarnated from an injury that no one has ever recovered from, Brandon Woodruff. You're throwing him out twice. You're throwing out, I don't know, maybe Jacob Lopez like does a thing. Ryan Pepio certainly.
6 relievers.
Ryan Pepio could like have a start.
That's
And,
fair. I mean, it's kind of like how I don't like playing Sean because we just match up poorly.
yeah,
And I think I agree with you that like JD and Ben do not match up very well.
matches up well into JD.
Yeah. Well,
And
they
then
don't match up well from JD's perspective. Yes.
sure. Well, and he's got sort of like I've always been a bit partial to like gadget guys, especially when it comes to like playoff stuff. Like Chandler Simpson is such a nice player to have going into the playoffs because like if you're going up against JD and you're like I'm not winning home runs probably regardless, even though again Bean's been on a power binge lately. But like maybe you take out Jesus Sanchez or Ben Rice and you throw in Chandler Simpson and add like
We get
4
4 or 5
steals this week.
steals.
All of a sudden you're cheesing JD on ERA, WHIP, saves. You got
On base is always a thing. Wins are kind of yeah.
wins are up in the air. Like who know? And like all of a sudden it's like ah. It hasn't. No, it's people that
I'm gonna give a hot take, and I don't believe this, but I'll just throw this out there. Um, Brian Abreu might be one of the best prospects in FTN's ever produced. He's been on Ben's team for like 3 years, and he's been like a top 15 relief pitcher for 3 straight years. That's really good value.
we don't really have a history anymore of.
I just don't think that's true even remotely. Like there's like 5 guys on my team who've outproduced him in player rater by like orders of magnitude than
Brian
Brian.
Abreu is currently position ranked 10, and I think he was top 5 last year.
Was Cal Raleigh?
Okay.
Well, like that's the question though, right?
Cal Raleigh a prospect?
Yes, sir. He was my prospect.
Okay,
Like
Brian Abreu, the only relevant relief pitcher prospect in FTN. Maybe that's the hot.
Emmanuel Clase. What are we talking? That's my first prospect.
Mason Miller.
Give some
Mason
love
Miller.
to Abreu without you guys hating.
I,
No, we can't do that. I'm gonna see if I have a reliever that's a better prospect. I doubt it.
Yohan Duran.
It wasn't mine. He was BLD's.
yeah, BLD always had that eye for talent.
Yeah.
Orion Kerkering is like okay. Abner Uribe is like pretty good. Another relief pitcher, Ben prospect.
What about Louis Varland, Adam?
I love that king.
Does he count? Aaron Ashby?
He's good. He's not as good as Brian Abreu. Aaron Ashby. Yeah. Reed Detmers. There we go.
Oof, relief pitcher. If you imagine telling Drew
Throws a no-hitter and is a relief pitcher.
Reed Detmers is a reliever now.
Oh, Drew, if we could go back and talk in like 2022 about the state of your franchise and like where all these guys have ended up, that Reed Detmers, formerly untouchable, is off your roster. Brady Singer, formerly untouchable, is off your roster. Aaron Judge and Juan Soto have been traded. Oh man,
I did 7 years, 6.5 years with Juan Soto. 2 playoff appearances. Man,
It's too much.
He didn't get it done. He can't carry a team. He needs a Brent Rooker, and I just never found him a Brent Rooker.
You have Nick Kurtz. What is Nick Kurtz not a?
He wasn't.
Is Aaron Judge not a Brent Rooker? What's the vibe?
Aaron Judge got traded.
It's true.
We made some choices. Ulrich has typed and deleted 3 messages, so we're still waiting on that live playoff standings update. We'll come back if we get it, and we'll talk about it. Devin Williams, you're the one who wanted to host this pod tonight or do one. Is there anything on your mind you want to talk
Not really. I sort of wanted to do some more like player breakdown stuff, but to be honest, we didn't prep, so I don't know. I can yell about folks on the fly. We can talk about Pete Crow Armstrong, who I don't believe has a counting stat against me this week. So that's who I'm most prepared to talk about. Let's pull up the overall numbers. for PCA this week. 1 for 19. No counting stats, no walks.
Will you pull up the same for Julio Rodriguez? I just went
Sure, sure, sure. And just off the top of my head, Joe Adell has 4 homers and 9 RBI.
I
So
hate myself, but let's go Joe Adell.
let's go, Joe Adell. Let me pull up Julio.
I would love for you to break down a little bit for people who may have misunderstood the last employment series that was written about
Sure.
PCA. We have you on. May as well. Why don't you talk about it a little bit?
I didn't actually read it, so I'd like to know.
Hey, man, what the hell?
I was busy. I meant to, and then I forgot it existed. So this is
Oh,
good.
that was good stuff. But essentially, it was like a real, just a verbalization of my vendetta against red bubble culture in baseball. Baseball in the recent years has become very, like, it's cool to be smart. And I think a lot of people want to find ways to sound smart, and going on Baseball Savant and like posting these bubbles is like the easiest way for people to think they sound smart. So it's actually very dumb. And no one actually has close held opinions, and no one knows anything about context or situation or anything. They just know red equals good and blue equals bad. So essentially breaking down my process of like how to actually do player evaluation and hitter evaluation without, like sounding stupid and like sounding like we knew what you're talking about. So went through his preseason projections to see like sort of, where PCA was at and where he was supposed to be and where he ended up being. Plate discipline was actually right on, which I was actually really surprised about. And it was the biggest thing was just like his slugging is 100 points higher than 150 points higher than what was projected, which is pretty wild. Making a lot more zone contact. He's pulling the ball a ton more in the air. He's like made a whole big thing about like being out in front. But he's doing that by like moving back in the box and swing at the same time. So by moving back in the box, he's sort of like working to cut down his whiffs, which he's done a ton, at least in zone. And then catching ball out front. Bat speed has gone up 2 miles an hour year over year.
What is it now?
72. That was
deep, but two miles an hour gain is huge. So I mean,
well, it's such a weird thing with him, and the most interesting thing that I found in digging in is that when he came up in 2023, he had a 73.1 average swing speed, which is pretty good. And he had 40 degrees of tilt, which is an absolute fuck ton of tilt, like a swing like made for loft. It's like Riley Green-esque amounts of tilt. And then coming into last year, he was down to 70.6, which is a huge drop off. And he actually flattened his swing to 35 degrees of tilt.
still a fair bit of tilt. Still above league average, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
32, 33.
Yeah, but generally when you lower tilt and you flatten out your swing, you actually gain bat speed because like you're fighting gravity less in the swing. So he somehow flattened out his swing and like his bat speed dropped like precipitously.
Has he commented on this ever? Like, is anybody like?
I haven't seen anything on it. It's like it would be like a huge explanation for me. It could just be like an approach thing. He was outmatched. He was like swinging 80% of the time to like try to cut down his whiffs, and it just didn't work. But then this year he's back up that 2 miles an hour, and all of a sudden everything comes back together. But like, yeah, you have a guy that like hit 11 homers last year at the 70-mile-an-hour swing, and now he's hitting 30 with a 72.5-mile-an-hour swing. Like, that makes sense with good changes to his approach to pull more fly balls. Like, it just sort of makes sense.
What's his zone contact at now?
I think it was like 80, which is not
Still,
good, but
still
it's
bad,
way
but
more
like,
than it was. And his zone,
contact.
yeah, and his chase contact, I believe, is down a lot. So his whiff percentage, which again is context that is not shown on Baseball Savant, his whiff percentage is unchanged year over year, but he's whiffing less in the zone and more out of the zone, which is like the trade-off that you're looking for. So it's like a huge part of all of that. And then I sort of um, yodeled a bit about how there's like a really clear and easy approach against him as a pitcher. He's really bad against sliders, especially.
Hands
Hmm?
for both
Mhm.
lefties and righties.
Yeah. And he can't hit down and away for any sort of damage, and he whiffs a ton up and away. So it's like sliders down and out, and then play the fastball off the slider up and out, and it just sort of feels like a very straightforward approach. So like we'll see if it looks like pitchers may be adjusting back to his adjustments, and like we'll see. It's always the game of who can catch up, but that was essentially the PCA thing where I was like, he is better, and like
It is quite literally the worst PR7 I've ever seen. Negative 5.63 in this matchup. He's actually being dropped in leagues for the first time I've seen this year. Crazy stuff.
I wonder what percentage of sliders he's seeing in the last 7 days.
yeah, I'll have to check. It was going back up, so I had the graph that sliders started out really low, and his K percentage was around 25%. And then, sort of after his beginning initial hot streak, sliders were jumping up to around 30%, or even at 35% from like under 20. And his K rate went from like 25 to like 30. And then for some reason, they stopped throwing him sliders as much. And then his K rate dropped a ton. And now they're sort of back. So, I'm not a pitching coach, but hey, man.
So would you be a PCA buyer in the offseason? You're a buyer for PCA.
He does everything that I wrote the last unemployment series before this. I think maybe it was one before about Marcus Simeon and about how like nothing really matters except like playing time and pulling the ball in the air. And like he's gonna play every day. He's the best defender at any position in baseball. He's fast as shit. That's not going away. He's shown he can hit homers. Like yeah,
Where are you taking him in redraft next year? Where does PCA go? Is he a back end first rounder?
in OBP probably a little bit, maybe a little bit lower. Maybe he slips to top of two, but in average, he's a mid to back first for me.
I
I
think
mean,
so.
he's just going to do this again. Drew, what are your thoughts?
I can see it in his eyes.
I was thinking like I had no idea what you guys were going to say, and I don't follow redraft rankings, but I thought gut feeling like in a 12-team league around 45th, so like fourth rounder.
Hmm.
So I guess I would not be getting PCA if I did any redraft next year.
I mean, you're looking at a guy who's like potentially, I haven't looked at his numbers recently, but anyone who's like 130, 130 is just, I mean, as premium as it gets. And that's like a plausible line for him. And yeah, I agree that an OBP is a little bit lower, average is higher. I mean, that was like after Julio's sophomore season. That's where Julio was being taken, and then he declined from there. But like, that's where you had him then. I think Bobby Witt is still like, because he plays shortstop, you put him up a little bit, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Then you're at the top end. You're like you got your Judges, your Jose because he plays third, Otani obviously.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I think a lot of it with PCA too is team context, and like the Cubs are just an amazing offense, and they play in a good offensive park for most of the year. Um, Obviously, that has not been the case recently, as every single Cubs hitter has fallen off the face of the fucking planet over the last month and a half, including PCA. So maybe that changes, and we're all wrong, and they've all been figured out. But like PCA is playing a better offense than like Julio ever played in a much better park, and like same with like Bobby Witt, and like it's a little bit different with like spots in the lineup. Like those are two like real like more top of the lineup guys for PCA. I think he might be hitting like fourth now. Now that I think about it, but was hitting pretty low in the lineup early in the year because he just like doesn't get on base. Yeah, he hits fifth. Like it's just a sort of a different profile
Mm-hmm.
than the guys who are like get on base, steal a lot, score a lot of runs. Like he is still in like these run production sort of like spots in the lineup that's like sort of unique for a guy of his like actual archetype.
If he let off, how many steals do you think? Because I think his attempts would go way up, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
And he already has 30. He could, maybe he pushes 50 steals. He might push 50 steals as is.
He's
If
good.
it
This
comes,
is the PCA glazing pod. Graydon's gonna love this.
ugh, I don't feel good doing it.
It
I
does
was
make me feel a little dirty, but I do agree with it.
I was looking back through my old unemployment series articles, and I don't remember writing this, but I wrote one like 3 years ago, shitting on Bobby Witt Jr., which has aged just horrendously.
You remember your original prospect rankings that included like you were really in on Sean Murphy.
He's that guy,
I
He's
was
that.
in on him too.
He would still be good if we gave him a chance. Fucking Drake Baldwin got out of his way.
Um, let's wrap up this part. I want to ask you guys right here. Redraft. Three of the more talked about players in the league this year. Where in a redraft, let's say it's a redraft dynasty league, even. Okay.
Is there such thing
If
as
we
a
were to redraft next year,
well? Okay.
which of these rank these three guys? I'll start with you, Jack.
So what is Kurtz like 21, 22?
Yeah, probably 23.
PCA is 23, so does 26, 27.
Mm-hmm.
So like in a what do you mean by redraft dynasty exactly? Because like
So
That's just not a thing.
yeah, because I was like, is this
were
partial
to
keepers?
restart.
Because it's not going to matter because I'm going to keep these guys no matter what. Say again.
If FTN were to restart next year,
Okay, so you're saying just if it's a new dynasty league? Okay. In a new dynasty league, oof. I think you have to. I think the answer that like you should have is PCA for the profile. Like the guys that can contribute power speed are just super premium. But if you're presuming these are all first round picks, which I'm not sure that in a dynasty league first round gets really deep. Um, I would tend to want to take like the highest floor, and I'd be thinking about it like how am I going to build my entire team. So like it depends on like what I'm going for in the draft and what my draft strategy is. I'm going to answer your question like the wrong way. In redraft, I definitely take PCA. In dynasty, I'm probably looking for floor more, and I probably still take Juan Soto. I probably still take Soto in this case because he's still very young. I know what I'm going to get. Like Nick Kurtz may very well be like better than Soto next year for the rest of Soto's career. Like his Nick Kurtz's production over the next decade may well outstrip Soto's, but I'm not going to take that bet when there's plenty of other great guys to take around. Like I'm going to take the sure thing.
he's simply Kurtz. Is just simply more dynamic than Soto.
But more than PCA. Have you seen his hair, his outfield defense? Come on.
Dynamic. I will say that something that I didn't realize until today, actually, is that Soto has 17 steals this year.
Dynamic.
Dynamic. That is 5 more than his previous career high, and we still have a ton of the season left.
Have you seen how many steals Josh Naylor has?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's dynamicism, right? Like that's the guy.
Every time I talk with Jacob, he just hates how fat Josh Naylor is. He just hates that he's fat. He hates fat baseball players. I think it's, like the legacy of fucking Jesus Montero in Seattle, for those that remember. Mr. Ice Cream Sandwich, traded from the Yankees. But Fat Boy has 18, 19 steals.
He's like the fucking like the Nikola Jokic of baseball. I feel the same way about fat basketball players. And Nikola Jokic like makes me upset when I watch him because he looks fat and slow and unathletic, but he's like supernaturally better than everyone else. And I feel like Josh Naylor like did some sort of blood sacrifice, and now he's like stealing a whole bunch of bags. Like his MLB The Show card, I think, just came out, has 30 speed and like 99 steal. Like it doesn't make any sense.
That's funny. Yeah,
I
apparently he was
thought
getting on Cole Young for never trying to take an extra base. And he's like, if I can do it, anyone can do it, Cole. Come on. So
That is true. That is true.
I always thought that comparison was more for Jose Ramirez because Jose Ramirez is kind of a chubby boy too.
he's also just short as fuck. He's like 5'8".
He's very compact.
He's dense. Yeah.
Right here.
So wait, Adam, who are you taking here? So I mean, you don't have to do it the way I did it, but I'm curious. In a new FTN dynasty league.
It's pretty easy for me. Soto PCA Kurtz.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
that's kind of where I landed too.
yeah, I think with I mean, I don't know if Juan Soto will steal 20 bags again, but if Juan Soto steals 20 bags, he's like miles away the best player on this list, and he's like a top three guy in FTN, especially in Dynasty. And Kurtz is good, and he can do the rest of what Soto does. I mean, I didn't think Soto was going to steal 20 bags this year, but I really don't think that Nick Kurtz is going to steal 20 bags ever. Um,
He's not dynamic enough.
not dynamic enough. It's really tough to take like a four category guy in the first round of a dynasty league unless you're like so super elite in all four of them.
And that
And
was kind of Freddie Freeman for a little while, right? And even he chipped in, for part of his career, only 8 to 10 steals, but that kind of does the thing.
yeah, I mean, he had
I know
20
one year he had like 20.
goals in 2023. Like that's crazy useful.
We are getting from Ryan our live standings updates. So it is Sunday night. We're about halfway through the Cards Cubs game. Quite a few matchups still in flux at the moment. But as it stands, Adam, you got a 3.5 game lead on Sean for that all important bye.
That's not as much as I'd want.
Like, let's say you played Jack week one. Well, you just played Jack last week and it wasn't even close. So the bye the bye
It
week.
wasn't close. It wasn't.
No, feels like a low blow and a cheap shot. But hey, I guess it's your podcast.
I gotta take what I can get.
I'd rather play you than Sean. It's just the matchup thing, right? It's not about team quality. It's just like roster construction wise, like I take that over having to deal with Sean's bullshit. So
10 games back, I find myself, and Max and Perry 16 and 16 and a half back, which is where I think Ben started today, or last week. At the end of last week, he was 16 games back. Maybe if we had one more week, we could say some magic here could happen. But Jack, we're looking at I'm needing like a 9-1 or a 10-0 next week to do anything here, and Max and Perry are likely buried. Conference two, JD, he's clinched. We know that's happening. Jacob with 1 game up on Ryan, and Graydon 1.5 back of Ryan, which means they're all separated by 2.5 games. And then Vinny and Ben 12.5 and 15 games out. But I don't know, man. Could Ben smack Vinny 10-0 next week and Division 3 continues to do their 5-5 shenanigans? I could see it.
They're just
for it, no.
tough, gritty ball clubs. They're allergic to blowouts. They keep it very fair. They're very respectful of their opponents. They just refuse to win big, and that's really what the owners designed, made every draft pick and every trade to win 5-4-1 every week. It's brilliant stuff.
Well, I want you guys to open up Graydon and Adams matchup on your phone right now, and I want you guys to look at the matchup scores, specifically the pitching. And then once you've done that, and I guess I want both of your inputs. I want you to look at what Graydon did today, where he started Justin Verlander and he sat Matt Gore. And I want you guys to. I'll start with you, Adam. I want you to react. Would you have done that if you were Graydon? Like, okay.
No, it was the
In San Francisco.
yeah. I like
In San Francisco.
I get that you're rattled, but like
The bad offense in a pitcher's park. Man,
you needed.
and the last two Matt Gore outings were bad. As a Sandy Alcantara owner, I understand benching guys who have lots of bad outings in a row, aka Sandy's entire season. I think I've had him in my lineup like 4 times this year in 20-something starts. But that's bad. Yeah, he shouldn't have done that. I don't know why he did that.
He was like way up in ratios. Like just if we were all throwing like I was throwing out like Brian Bayo today. I streamed Davis Martin, and it was like if you look across the aisle and I'm throwing out bums, and like you're too scared to like throw ratios with Matt Gore. Like that's like you got to look yourself in the mirror at some point and like I don't know, just say to
So,
hell.
I mean, the ratios are close in his defense, but I don't know why you feel so much more confident about Justin Verlander against the Nats than you do Matt Gore against the Giants. Like, I think thinking of those as like substantively different, like have like those outings having substantively different potential is that's like the problem right there.
I
Like
just
you
think,
do both or you do neither, maybe if you're trying to do something else. But
well, and wins were tight too. Like I just think you throw them both and you feel great about both of them.
Hmm.
And like one, if one of them blows up, fine, then the other one gets the win. And so that's that stuff. I hate to say,
you start your guys.
yeah, it's and you feel better going to bed tonight having started your guys and they suck and you lose than looking at Matt Gore on your bench with like
Pancakes.
an absolute gem and a win and like all and like none like ratios wouldn't be close otherwise and like that'll just eat at you for fucking days and you gotta take your own mental health into account.
It'll eat at him the whole off season. If let's say the season ended today, it'd miss it by half a game, 1.5. But like that, one or two decisions like that in the whole season can make or break it, especially in a division like Division Three.
Yeah, I mean he was he's making it was a scrappy move for sure more than anything. It was a gritty move. It was a tough move. But does not look like it is going to work out.
This is kind of I don't know if it can happen, but I am looking. I think
Looking
this
into
might
tiebreakers.
be the first season that we don't get a under 400 team.
Parody.
I'm rooting
Vin
for
has
Ben.
to go ham in his non-Vinny matchups, and Vinny can't go any further down than he is. But that would be really cool if we had no under 400 teams because, yeah, I mean, we're not too far removed from an era where we had a couple of 250 winning percentage teams
That was impressive stuff.
for dark days.
Well, you were sending things in the chat today about realignment. Want
Oh,
to give you a want to give you the spotlight here. Like you could start in your division or your conference. Like what do you want to see personally, and why?
I actually didn't think anything further about it than I just think realignment's a funny concept in the league. I don't know. Okay, realignment. If we did it, something it would be a change to we randomize divisions every year and conferences. Just because I wouldn't want to rearrange things from a competitive standpoint because theoretically things ebb and flow. I know for like quite a few years it's not really felt like that,
We've been
but
ebbing for a while.
we're making changes to the league where the winners don't get as much BAM. Hopefully, maybe we have to do something a little more drastic. We have some rule changes in store for this off season to look at. By and large, we would not do realignment purely from a competitive standpoint. I like the rivalries that are created. There's a lot of natural rivalries that are here. We have a lot of history with some really good ones now built up. So if we were to do a new thing, it would only be because I would like it if I got to play JD more than once a year because
I
that
didn't like playing him twice this year. That was no fun.
yeah, I get it, but it would just be fun to play more people more often. So that would be why I would support realignment is just because it allows you to have more matchups against people that for the last 6 or 7 years you maybe haven't had as many matchups against.
It'd be fun. I agree with that we shouldn't do competitive realignment, but it would be cool to like get some different narratives going. Like I want to be in the same division with Jack. That's all I want to do. Just win that division. To stop hiding behind playing Drew 15 times a year. Play with the big boys.
Harry and Max, what are you doing over there? Come on.
Barry and Max are two of the premier franchises, and I think they need more respect. Um,
My favorite factoid of the league has to be that Max improved his record every year for the first 5 years. This is just, it's incredible.
Someone put some respect on his name. Anyone, please.
It led to like one playoff.
And it is finally over.
It is. He's plateaued. He was the plateau team. He had a hard cap on what he could do before we knew his team would age out. And he's got some young guys in, but he really needs Dylan Cruz and Roki, the number one and number two prospects in baseball this year. And they probably accrued negative player rater.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I would be so angry at God if I was Max. Like, he had so much fun and hope, and like, not only were these like the best prospects in baseball, but they were like widely considered like pretty high floor guys. And they just both blew up. Like, I haven't thought about Dylan Cruz in weeks, and I'm a fucking Nats fan. And like, that's
Man, he's coming back.
okay. I don't care. I to trade him. I like, whatever.
We'll go to the first Nats game when he's back.
And he'll get rained out.
Yeah.
It just sucks for Max because if they had like good rookie seasons, like you'd expect the number one and number two prospects, you get an unbelievable Seiya Suzuki season. You get a random Andy Pages breakout no one was expecting. The
Keep
relief,
Alonso better than ever. Ketel Marte as good as ever.
Jose Altuve still got it.
Bryce Turang still has like the top 3 second baseman in baseball.
Alec Boehm is on his way to his 4th straight MVP. Like, he really has something there.
Look at his offense this week. He had Alec Boehm plugged in on IL at third base all week and still went hard. Like, it doesn't matter. I was trying to trade for Seiya Suzuki for so long, for like the last 3 seasons, and all Max would say is, "I don't want to rename my team." This was when it was like Seiya's whatever the other one was, but like that was his main reason. He's like, "Yeah, your offers sound reasonable, but no."
Gotta respect it. The right move.
He was number one in the team name power rankings.
Why is Tyler Mahle holding an IL spot on this roster?
Because
For
former
next year,
Cincinnati
man.
Red. That's why.
Still
Texas,
has a 2.3 ERA on the year.
Texas is kind of a pitcher's park.
I hate that team.
Pitcher's Park because the Rangers play there.
So we are at 52 minutes. We've not talked about John Duong really at all, but as the two of the playoff teams this year, which let's say you guys make it to the finals, what team do you want to see the least? And if it's JD, explain why it's JD again this year, or if it's not JD, explain why you don't know how to think critically.
Yeah, I mean, it's JD. I think that just makes sense. Like we were saying earlier, like especially in the playoffs, offense is just like throw out your guys and pray they do well. And JD has the best offense, and you don't want to make a bet against that, and he could figure something else out otherwise. But there's really just no one else I'm scared of in that conference. I'm scared of several Division One teams, but I'm not, and I'm like marginally scared of JD. But there's no one else.
Yeah,
Jack, are you more scared of Adam or JD?
Adam by a long shot. And again, I think Adam's team is better than Sean's team, but again, because of the way I match up against Sean, I'm more scared of Sean than I am of Adam too. And because of just like poor performance against Sean, I'm a little jaded on how my season has gone against him. No, it's definitely JD though. I mean, but JD is kind of a step behind the top offenses in Conference One, all of them. His pitching strategy, I just don't think is working. I mean, he leads the league in Ks, but like Ks against teams in the Conference One top 3 teams will be competitive kind of regardless. It'll just depend on how many starts guys roll. Like it just comes down to that. And his complete unwillingness to like actually try to win ratios is a little bizarre when he has guys that like can do that. I don't know if that's like just because he doesn't want to look at the matchup and like think about the lineups. Like sometimes you just set it and go. But I was saying before this how I was, after my very bad start to the season, last in ERA at the very end of May. I am now in 3rd. JD is in 11th. Graydon Braden's Justin Verlander start today put him into last. But I mean, a team that's presumably going to the championship, right, is the championship favorite, being 11th in ERA. He's a little better in WHIP, I think. Like, he's ninth in WHIP, but like that's not like that's when I was struggling at my most earlier in the season, because like offense ebbs and flows, and like I had a great week against you, Adam, and then this week against Max, like I have an average week and I get blown out. But like pitching, you have a lot more control over, and I just don't know why JD manages things that way when he has guys who, like, again in the playoffs, maybe he'll just try to, if he gets a crochet two step, like that's game over. So, but
Yeah, I mean, he's just like the reason that I would be scared of JD is that he is in the position where he is at because of injuries and underperformance. Like Jordan has been out for forever. He might be back by the time playoffs roll around. Cunha has been out and was amazing when he was back. He was seen running today in the outfield. Maybe he's back, and that's a huge boost. Aaron Nola's out, but like everyone, like Zach Gallen is underperformed to like an unfathomable amount. Maybe a second to only Sandy in terms of like absolutely disastrous disappointments in the pitching side. And like you just sort of wonder that like could those just sort of regulate? Tanner Bybee has been fucking awful.
I feel like
Like
those don't stabilize. Like, I mean, if they all stabilize at the exact right time, that'd be pretty fucking weird. But like the talent's there.
the talent's there, but then like you keep throwing out like Jack Leiter every fucking week, like no matter what. Brady Singer, like it, like that. At some point, is just a management thing, and it sort of makes me scared that if he goes like my top five, your top five, like Crochet, Pavetta, King.
King healthy again?
Yeah, he just pitched again for the first time in a while. He had a very bad start, but
But even those top five are not, like, those top three are scary. But like, then what do you tell me? Bybee and not fucking Boz. It's not Gallant.
it's Noah
Maybe,
Cameron. It's always been Noah Cameron.
He's
maybe
been
it's,
low key filthy.
Noah Cameron. I mean, okay.
Noah Cameron has low key kept JD's season alive. I mean, it would have gotten really fucking dicey if he didn't randomly hit on this guy.
It's crazy. Shout out Jeff Hoffman tonight. Point 2 innings, 5 walks, and a win.
Beautifully done. It's just textbook stuff. That's the most JD shit I've ever seen in my entire life. Just absolutely terrible random win just because JD gets his court mandated 10 wins a week from like no matter how good or bad his pitchers are.
So week 19, 3 weeks to go. We've really not talked too much about Division 3, but give us a prediction. Give the people a prediction. Name the division winner of Division 3, and then who's going to win the wild card. Start with you, Jack.
I'm gonna punt it to Adam because I want to look at their schedules most of the year.
I was gonna punt it to Jack because I couldn't care less.
I'll go. I think the division winner is going to be Ryan. I think Paul Skeens is going to pull him through. If he's not going to make the playoffs in MLB, I really want him to make the playoffs in FTN. And then I'm going to go wild card will be Jacob. I think Graydon's just honestly disheartened and at this point would rather win consolation than make the playoffs anyhow.
It is like probably like mentally, I don't think like a crazy stretch to say that this Mackenzie Gore benching today ended a season. I don't know how you could pull yourself up after this and be like, gotta go do my best next week.
So
And
maybe
like,
I should really only listen to the first half of this podcast with the PCA glazing, because the second half is just absolutely tearing into his management.
he said he was the worst manager in FTN, which he definitely was today.
Say that in like the off preseason pod, that was like his problem last year. Like, this is when he was doing no acquisitions, and I think that's changed a little bit.
Well,
But
he needs to stop playing fantasy sports with fucking farmers. And this is, about time he's got some real comp.
Ben with the GG to Jacob in the group chat.
That's disrespectful.
That's the most disrespectful GG of the year.
Jacob is so pissed about this too. I love it. I think Jacob will win the division, principally because Ryan plays JD next week, and like regardless of Paul Skeens, like Ryan has the strongest remaining schedule, and then he plays Jacob also. And I don't know what their history looks like this year matchup wise. I mean, I would say Ryan's offense is obviously superior, and I would say Jacob's pitching is obviously superior. So like it's one of those 5-5s, but like I think if you have to play JD, I mean, if Ryan does a thing against JD, that changes the whole landscape. But I wouldn't bet on it. So I'd go Jacob winning, Ryan wild card. I don't think Graydon's out of it by any means. I just think that he's maybe the least likely based off the remaining schedule and where he's at, which is not far out. But
Ryan has like a grand total of one okay pitcher on his entire roster.
yeah, it's
Not
really bad. And of course, against me, they fucking shove. Adrian Hauser, elite.
Is Guadolo not healthy? Is that why you guys?
He is not healthy. That is correct.
I think he sucks.
And I'm just sort of like, it's just not going to happen. I don't know. Like, you just can't. And it's been sort of my pet peeve over the last couple of weeks, and I've told him this, so I don't feel bad saying it. But like, you can't be like, oh, like Patrick Corbin's a terrorist. Like, we know he always has been, and like to throw him out and be like, damn, can't believe like Adrian Hauser sucks. Like, you should believe that. He has never not been exactly this. Like, when people tell you who they are, like, you should believe them. And it feels like this whole like miracle run has really been propelled by bad pitchers pitching really well. Like, you saw like today, perfect example. Can't believe this. What? How convenient. Adrian Hauser, Quinn Priester, Patrick Corbin, and Mike Burrows starting for Ryan Ulrich today.
All of them today.
All of them today with a team ERA of 8.27 and a whip of 1.65 with 13 strikeouts in 20 innings.
Where was that for me in the fucking All-Star game week? Come on.
That's just karma. The whole Quinn Priester thing is the worst storyline of the season. It makes you want to puke.
He's unlikely to trade. That's so funny. Imagine going into your app and being like, I need to make sure everyone knows I'm not trading Quinn Priester. Because I've been getting so many offers, and
For the trade deadline.
I need everyone to settle down.
He needed one win. I needed one win from that collective crew and didn't get one.
Should have picked up Davis Martin. Manager diff.
Did Davis Martin get a win today?
He did get a win today. He pitched like shit because he's on my team, but he did get a win today.
I could have fucking used that. I would have done it. That would have won me my matchup. I decided just to say, Dodgers will probably win, and then Addison Barger, last time I'll ever say terrorist, cost me the win.
Well, Shohei Ohtani striking out with the bases loaded and 1 out.
Fucking loser.
You might be bad at sports. He might just not be that guy.
He hit such a beautiful home run yesterday. Just absolute dead center, great loft. Oh. Did any of you watch Ichiro's like induction speech at T-Mobile? Oh, you should look that up. It was good. He has like a 10-minute bit, and he's just talking about his relationship with Randy Johnson. It's fun.
Was that Friday night?
That was last night. Yeah, Saturday.
Nice tight 10 minutes of stand-up from the baseball all-time hits leader.
Mm-hmm.
I was at Graydon's place. We were watching a tight 5-5 Rockies Diamondbacks game instead. Electric.
Yeah.
I didn't get to comment on realignment, so I just want to do it really quick. I'm not gonna like actively be a proponent of realignment. Like, I think these divisions are fun, and I think the league's in a really good state. But if it were put to a vote, I'd be like a soft yes, just because new rivalries are enticing, and it's been 6 years. It's been a long time. This is our 6th season, yeah, or our 7th season.
7th.
So
we've had 3 people win twice each.
Yeah, so that's just a long time to have things be the exact same, and I think that definitely not a competitive kind of realignment, but just a random divisions, and maybe you put them on fixed 2-year cycles. Like, 1 is one thing, but like you don't cultivate the rivalries if it's just 1. 3 is maybe okay, 4 is maybe too long, kind of thing. So like 2 or 3 year cycles if this is what you get. And if I roll a division of me, Adam, and JD, like, fuck it, like, let's go.
That'd be so fucking fun. I'd
hate myself in my life, but that's okay.
I'd quit my job. That would be what I did that year. Like that, I don't need anything else.
You'd quit your job, like, hey, Lucy, like, it doesn't matter. I have no money to support us. Like, I went 5-4-1 against Jack this week, and
Right? Why haven't you touched your gruel? We won. I won. I beat Jack 5-4-1 this week. Make sure to warm your hands up by the trash can fire outside.
Anything else we want to talk about?
I'm currently losing whip to Graydon by 0.007.
I lost whip by less than 0.01 today. I lost 1.22 to 1.21, so I get it. I need a stat correction stat.
Sunny Gray's still in, so it's not too late to fuck this up, guys. Come on, Sunny.
Jakob Marcy might save my season. That guy's fun.
Yeah, he's been hot. Is he actually good?
He's good at running fast.
He might be the Nick Kurtz of outfield and stolen bases. Just dynamic out
there. Not nearly as dynamic. I was going to say, I was thinking about it earlier. Maybe we could just do it with you, Jack, too, real quick before we sign off. But not necessarily your best player, but the player that you check in on the most, the player you most want to be good, want to be right on this season. For me, it's Xavier Edwards. I have been nonstop checking in on Xavier Edwards because I traded away a top 5 debatably number 1 prospect in baseball for him, and I just need him to be.
What was that trade?
It was Kevin McGonigal essentially for Xavier Edwards. But what I was going to bring up today is that Xavier Edwards has 5 steals this week and a 400 OBP, and I've just never felt like I could have lost this week and felt fine about it. I'm so back because of him. So I was wondering if you have any guys like that.
Wait. Before Jack says Colson Montgomery.
I hate Colson Montgomery.
Not even on the roster.
No.
So, okay, wait.
Every Colson Montgomery homer, I get a text from Jacob. Every single one.
All right, Jack, you ready to give your answer?
I'm not. I need to look at my team, actually, so go ahead.
Okay, I'll go. Let me know when you're ready to give your answer. The player I check in on the most, I love to honestly hate watch other people's players. So I'm constantly checking in on PCA and stuff like that. I think the player that you know what, this is kind of out of the box. The player I check in on a lot is Brian Reynolds because I traded him to Perry a couple years ago, and I never knew if I was going to regret trading away Brian Reynolds because he felt like such a good floor piece. But position ranked 23. I check on him often, and I just never really regret it. And I kind of feel bad because he needs to be a guy in Pittsburgh for them to have any success, and he's not. And it kind of feels like Perry needs him a little bit to have success, and he's just not being that guy. So hopefully there's some greener pastures ahead for Brian Reynolds, the Pirates, Perry. That's who I check in on him all the time.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah. So and this is a little different than your way of approaching Adam because there's no one on my team that I felt like, oh, I want to really hope I'm right on this person this year. I've had those guys in other years, but there wasn't a lot of turnover for me. The guys that I added, like Arandas and Barger, that have been good for me, but I didn't think I think most
people checking in on Addison Barger every day to be like, he's still good, right? I got this.
It's kind of fun that he used to be your prospect and now he's on my team, but I also dropped Joe Adele and now he's on your team, and I don't think I win that. So that sucks. Also dropped Brent Rooker last year, so I'm just a fucking dumbass. The guy I check on the most is Robert. But you just mistimed that so bad.
So bad.
You almost had it.
Just to the point that you can't really hear what he says.
Wait, say it again. I said Luis. It out. We can redo it.
I said Luis Robert Jr.
Wow.
Or Luis Robert, as Drew likes to call him, because he was just so bad. Just so terribly bad last year and this year after having he was like a consensus second rounder in redraft leagues after his 2023 season. He's still young, all the talent's there. And there are a few causes for concern in his profile, like just weaknesses that were exacerbated at times. But I just thought he's not a 550 OPS guy. Like it was just so weird how terrible he is. Like he's playing like somebody who should not be a Major League Baseball player with that type of like obvious ability and athleticism was just wild to me. So seeing him in the last like month and a half be absolutely elite has been very vindicating. I would have loved if he'd been traded. I hope he gets traded next year. Like I'm not like the biggest change of scenery guy, but when you were on like the worst team ever that continues to still be disappointing and you're like that type of talent, like please play for the Dodgers, like go to the Cubs, something like that, like a big market, big team could really use a guy like that. And I still think he's got, a few really good years in his future. I was at a low point this summer and I was in some trade negotiations with him with Vinny and we didn't get close to moving him, but I was like kind of willing. And it was like, of course, the next week is when he caught fire. So,
It was like
do an outfielder swap with Yelich.
I don't remember what the exact like deal was, but I think Yelich was involved. I don't know if the Glaber had already been moved to Ben yet. There were some different pieces, but
that's like the definition of like team that you should or trade you should probably take is a team that's trying to win, and like trade you should probably make is team who's trying to tank, but like it just doesn't feel good for either side to
and I
just.
tried to trade him in the off season because I was like one of the big things I was trying to do was to like de-risk my roster. And then no one would bite on like some of the guys I was trying to move. I was like trying to move Luis Robert. I was looking into like a Glass now trade, things like that. And then I just added Aaron Judge. So I mean, it didn't go the way I intended. But
It's a de-riskifying your roster.
sometimes you get approached with great deals. So
For the Cincinnati people in the chat, the Reds need to get Luis Robert. They just
I'd be fun. I would love that.
It'd be really fucking fun. That's just like in both, it sounds like in fantasy and real life, like I almost feel bad. Like he played himself out of getting traded. Like he played like in the opposite of the way everyone else does. Like he was like too good at the wrong time. So like everyone would be like, fuck, 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 maybe he's actually good. I can't move him for pennies on the dollar, which like some people would have been willing to. So poor guy should have struck out a couple more times. He could be in sunny Cincinnati right now.
Instead, you got Brian Hayes, my former prospect, for 50 something BAM.
that guy is
So
is he
bad.
cooked? Are we ever going to see a good Brian Hayes
No.
season again?
No.
To be cooked,
What the Brian Hayes season?
right? He would have needed to be good.
Yeah.
He has gotten like maybe the longest leash of like prospect pedigree of like anyone in recent memory. Fuck you.
God, he's so bad. And then I tried to move him before Jacob joined the league for years. I'd be talking to him about having Brian Hayes in my roster and how much I hated Brian Hayes. And he's like, he's going to turn it around. He's totally going to turn it around. Jacob was a big Brian Hayes guy. And even he is now out on Brian Hayes. So, like, there is no future for that man in Cincinnati, in Pittsburgh, and anywhere.
He's like a, you go, Joe.
I was just going to say, I love that Jack is hating on Jacob real quick. That was the theme of last week's pod. If you guys made it to the very end, was Jacob gets too much of a free pass in this league because he's like the new guy. People don't want to pick on the new kid. We're done with it. Jacob, he's not a perfect owner. He just got crushed by Ben 9-1.
Well, let's pick on him a little bit. Have you guys seen did you see Jacob's streams this week?
No.
You saw the outcome, right? So, I mean, he finished the week with a 5.64 ERA and a 1.6 whip. Let's see, recent activity. He had, he's talking about like throwing the kitchen sink at guys every week, and it's gone extremely well for him a lot of the time. And I think, he mostly makes like reasonably intelligent pickups, and I'm not able to see all of them very quickly right now, but I know he picked up Tyler Anderson and like Paddock and a few of these other guys in like not premium matchups against terrible teams, and then was like, oh my God, all my guys blew up. And it's like kind of like Ryan's team where like, yeah, they did. Like they are bad at baseball.
Tyler Anderson was bad today. Like, what do you mean?
It's like, well, it's the Rays, and it's like, yeah, but like it's Tyler Anderson.
Jacob's additions since last Monday include Chris Bubich as a stash for next year.
Yeah.
Picked up Joey Wentz 5 minutes later on Monday.
That went badly. Yeah,
Well, he got a win today and a good start, I think.
he did. I mean, Joey Wentz is actually like maybe kind of okay, but fun to make fun of him. Doesn't suit my narrative, but
He picked up Tyler Anderson, and then he picked up Drew Pomeranz on Friday. He also used his first matchup acquisition of the week to drop Drew Pomeranz today and pick up Logan T. Allen.
here we're going right back after it. Like, just because they have a two-step does not mean they need to be on a roster.
And
So fucking weird.
how do you feel about this? So it's a Tuesday game against the Marlins. Are the Marlins? Do you stream against the
Those
Marlins?
are hot.
No, I do not. Not with a Guardians offense for the win chance with a bad starting pitcher.
I hate
I don't care
streaming
what Nick
two-step
Foles.
guys. I don't know if you guys are in the same position, but I generally like streaming out of only one roster spot. And if I'm streaming a two-start guy, like you can't drop him and then pick. Like if you hold him all week, you only get two starts out of it. Where if like you're streaming out of that spot all week, you can get 4 or 5. Like it's just I've never understood it unless you just have like multiple shitty roster spots of like closer who's washed and like has an elbow injury and closer who bet on baseball on his own games and won't ever pitch again. Like unless you have that situation, like it just doesn't make sense. Help.
You guys, this is better for maybe an off-season.
Send a wellness check to your house.
Yeah.
This is maybe a better question for an off-season pod, but um, generally, has this season gone better as expected or worse than you anticipated? I'll start with you, Adam.
So much worse. This has been the least fun I've had playing in this league since it started. This has sucked so much. We're grinding. I'm happy that it like hasn't all fallen apart, but like boy, it has been unpleasurable. Literally every step of the way. It's one that like really I've been having sort of dark fantasy thoughts of like, man, I can't wait to like lose so I like don't have to like worry about losing again. I wish I'd lost more so it was like okay when I lose. It's been a tough mental place for me. It's the closers will get you. The
Who's
closers
the
will,
guy with the bye in his future?
maybe not. You need to do your job against Sean in the last week.
Oh, I'm
That's
playing for pride. I mean, I don't give a shit about the playoff implications. I'm playing to win. Yeah.
that's the attitude I need out of you. But yeah, it's really sucked.
Jack, better, worse, or as expected this year?
I mean, if you've seen my projected record in the luck rankings, I should be only narrowly behind Adam in terms of record this season, which is vindicating because I was just thinking after the first month and a half of the season, my team just can't be this bad. And I remember I got a random text from JD like in mid-May on a Thursday, and he's like, "You're just better than this. I know it." Like I'm like that honestly like that feels good because it was just so bad the confluence of underperformance, injury, and just like absolute just like I don't know, lack of heart on the team, really. Like everybody was just bad all at once in the first month of the season. And then just I've had not uniquely, I guess Bean by Jacob's rankings is somewhat worse. Um, but like some of my matchups this year, I've like legitimately popped off. Like the one with Ryan comes to mind, one with Sean early season, like a good chunk of the gap. I think like maybe 40% of it or so, I'd have to look at the standings exactly between me and Sean, is from one matchup where like categories were decided by like a run here and RBI there early season, but it turned into a blowout. It turned into like a 7-1-2 or something. And there have been quite a few, like even Max this week. Like I don't think I played a 3-4-4 week. I think I played probably like a 6-3-1 type week, and I've had just a ton of those this year. Um, so it's been worse than anticipated. But it's also been more fun in other ways because like for the first time I'm like shit, like I need to like I might not make the playoffs. Like I need to like I always like care and always like manage, but this year I'm like okay, like we need to do serious damage control and think about like how we're gonna make it. And there was some dark days in May where I was like, man, Everybody's telling me I'm washed. I need to rebuild. Am I washed? Do I need to rebuild? And the answer was always going to be no. But like, you weren't going to, gaslight me into tearing down the team like we did with Ryan and then leaving the league and then coming back and getting a new team. Like I was never going to do that. But I mean, I was more insecure than I've ever been. But, I think we've come out the other side. Snell's back and dealing. Glasnow's back and dealing. Kirby's on the up and up. The guys who were good before that are still good. Alcantara still sucks, but he's going to be on my team. So that's just the way it is. So
I always wondered what would happen when Jacob started posting the luck rankings last year. What would happen? Because like you two plus JD were the top of the luck rankings, and a little bit of that, like, or a lot of it has to do with you guys are just better managers. You find synergies. I'm not going to say what the synergies are in fantasy baseball. I'm not smart enough to know what they are. I'd be at the top of the luck rankings. But you guys do something for the most part that puts you ahead in those luck rankings. But I kind of was wondering, well, what would happen this year if those teams weren't at the top of the luck rankings with all the talent advantage they already have? Well, Adam and JD are once again the top two teams in the luck rankings. But Jack, you fell back and you were at the bottom. And the season you produced is you're barely above 500. You're a playoff team, but it's not a 630 winning percentage with a first round bye on the horizon. So it is interesting where Adam and JD, maybe it's a little bit of a warning next year if luck catches up to them just a bit. Like who knows?
Shaw.
We'll see.
I think what it showed me, now that we can quantify it, that like the league is a little higher variance than I thought. Like when you've been on a multi-year heater, when you also we had some teams that were just completely non-competitive also that like padded this too. Like I think it was less variance when you could reliably just shit on a whole division. But I think the league is higher variance, and there are opportunities for teams that are like, you do the thing, like you have a decent roster, you make some decent acquisitions, some decent trades, kind of like actual baseball, like things can go well for you, even if you didn't have like super high expectations. I mean, I think that's why all of Division 3 is that way. I mean, maybe something can happen for Bean here, now that he's a Juan Soto owner. Juan Soto is going to single-handedly drag his team to the playoffs and not yours, Drew. That would be humiliating if Juan Soto does make the playoffs on Bean's team this year.
He had 3 straight home runs. He had a home run 3 straight games this week.
Can you look into the camera so I can see the regret in your eyes? I don't know if I see it. I don't.
Oh, as I peered into my soul, I felt like looking into the abyss.
It just sucks because the guys that I traded Soto and Harper for are having really good seasons. Brian Wu and Joe Ryan, fantastic. Vientos was a total non-zero, and I loved getting that 60 extra BAM in our trade. But to Ryan's point, my bullpen has been it's been the worst in the league. It is costing me whip and save holds every week. And Jack, let's say I had 4 more category wins that my bullpen has cost me, I'd be 6 games back of you. I'd be 6 games back of you, not 10, with a hope. And
I mean, yeah, check my luck rankings and see how those look.
no, I know, but my bullpen's just been flat out disgustingly awful.
Isn't that like your fault though, right? Because there's like so many good guys to add. At least it's pretty dry now. I mean, there's some things that you can do, but like for the first 3 months of the season, there were a lot of people, and you were like hard committed to rostering IL Michael Kopech. Maybe he comes back, maybe he doesn't, but like there've
Had all
been
these
numerous.
Dodgers guys. I had Blake Trinan, I had Alex Vesia, I had Kirby Yates, and like they're all terrible. Carlos Estevez was named the Royals closer over Lucas Urseg and just shits the bed at the worst time. Ryan Thompson was great last year for the Diamondbacks,
I traded
and
him to you, I remember.
it's just I don't know. It's not been good on the relief pitcher front. I can't. I always start Aaron Ashby when he gives up runs, and I never start him when he doesn't give up runs.
Why is he on a roster?
It's so crazy that he's on a roster.
I think this is a you have poorly managed your bullpen and you blame the bad guys for being bad. I mean, I get the Dodgers stack because like the Dodgers are good, but I learned from when I had a Twins stack, because like if we're talking about teams that were disappointing, the Twins should have been so much better than they were, and that's just really sad. But I don't think having multiple relievers on the same team, unless they are just truly so good and they're the best available, is a very good strategy.
Edwin Uceta and Griffin Jacks.
Who owned Helsley? Does Jacob still own
Oh.
Helsley?
Did he move? I think he still owns.
No, he still got him.
Yeah.
I'm about to pay a ransom for Helsley in the offseason.
He's terrible.
Why? He's not even a closer.
I need.
That's like paying a ransom for Mason Miller.
Oof. Starting pitcher Mason Miller.
That's ransom worthy. That's ransom.
Next year, you could have a rotation of Mizurowski, Mason Miller, Jacob DeGrom,
Shota.
Shota, Yuri Perez, Tarek Skubal,
those five.
Reagans.
Cole Reagans.
What's Reagan's like prognosis? Like, is he?
He might be back end of the month. They're taking him really slow.
No reason for him to come pitch for them this year. So
right, yeah, I'm not necessarily expecting him back. His expected return is August 25th. He's increased his throwing distance to 120 feet, which feels like he's still very far away. But
don't forget, Adam could add minor league pitcher, well, the guy who's going to win minor league pitcher of the year this year, Jonah Tong, next year to the staff. And what are the Nationals doing with 102-mile-per-hour fastball Yarlin Susana?
Ruining him probably, if I had to guess.
Gauge jump too. So
Gauge jump.
You might have the three most exciting minor league pitchers.
To go back to your question, Drew, about like things that this season haven't gone well. I failed to understand the implications for my season of trading away all my BAM for Aaron Judge. That trade really became. I still think Jackson Jobe is like a non-zero piece at some point. I think I got the literal worst outcome, and I can't evaluate the trade based off that. But like, it was Judge and Jobe for Harper, Wu, and the 60 or 65 BAM,
and Ryan Nelson,
who I now have back, which is funny, and who has been great. So like,
you were right about him all along.
that's actually funny. So I almost answered that like Ryan Nelson was the guy I wanted to be right about, but then I was like, well, I kind of gave up on him, so I can't really say that. But that BAM, because there were just so many guys throughout the season that I wanted to bid on. You brought up Gage Jump; he was one of them that I just couldn't, and that really hurt more than I thought it was going to. Especially when we have a will vesting schedule that puts me in BAM debt, and I'm getting less. I forgot that I was getting less BAM than I was getting because of my third place finish last year, which is bullshit, but not bullshit. So
you are going to you owe me 3 BAM from the Aaron Judge trade this
up
winter.
From 2, yep, brutal.
But otherwise,
that's backbreaking, truly.
Otherwise, you're.
Drew was very courteous, as Ryan mentioned. Ryan didn't like that too much, but
you do owe 5 BAM in the summer.
Vinny.
Yeah. Adam, you got nothing interesting going on. Although you might get some more stuff from the Khalil Watson, Samuel Zavala nonsense.
Khalil Watson is like good now, which is crazy. He really turned it around. If I had to guess when I made that trade, Zavala would have been the one that blew up, and Watson would have fallen off the face of the earth. But it's the exact opposite.
Is Watson still a Marlins prospect?
No, he is.
Didn't he have like personal troubles too? Wasn't he like?
Yeah, he like called the coach like a dumbass or something.
Yeah, he was just like a shithead. But he currently has a 775 OPS for the Guardians AAA affiliate with 11 homers and 8 steals. That's not very good. Yeah, go Clip. But
this podcast has evolved into talking about Khalil Watson. I think we can hang it up here.
I can't believe it wasn't me who brought him up.
Well, thanks for joining, guys. This was fun.
It was.
Thanks for having us.
See you later, Devin Williams.